Hey everyone, Strangers103 here today with yet another replay, cause we're looking at this time renamed Potato Bob with a Hindenberg, and yeah, well, what's the Hindenberg about? Well, actually, before we get on that, I've decided to go back again to Adobe Audition to run my voice through that. Previously, it kept on crashing on me and it kept on bugging out on me over long recording sessions, so I kind of gave up. But gonna go back to trying that out now, as someone mentioned it, I think it was on the previous video, that, well, I mean, I know the echo's always been there, I've just been too lazy to deal with it. So, well, hey, we're gonna see if the audio settings that I've got running right now can help alleviate the issue a little bit. So, well, tell me what you guys think, if it's better, if it's worse, or if I should just go kill myself and jump out of the nearest window. Anyways, getting back with the replay. Hindenberg in pretty solid matchmaking. The enemy has a Missouri Ithmo division with a Z46. It's kind of 50-50 if we run into them on the same side of the map as us or not. We get an Iowa and a Missouri, so battleships-wise, at tier 9, we're kind of equal, but we get an extra North Carolina on top, so we definitely have an advantage there. On top of that, we also get an extra destroyer, so we not only have an extra battleship, we also have an extra destroyer. Enemy team instead gets a bunch of cruisers. And then we also get a Des Moines for radar, they get a Dmitry Donskoy. Minotaur could be radar, and he's going to need to be radar if he wants to really be able to pull through this game and be able to deal with our destroyers. And someone says, splendid, we're 4 tier 8s against 2. Well, we get an extra North Carolina, and we get an Ogdevai, and on top of the stuff as well. Granted they get a bunch of Zeds, but Ogdevai, fast torpedo reload. Cargados versus Cargados, that's equal. Fletcher, very strong destroyer. We get a Z-52, they get a shimmy. On top of that, we get a Chungmu, which is pretty useful overall. Deep-water torpedoes can definitely make a mess out of cruisers that don't have hydro. So in general, our team actually has advantage. We open up by deleting the island with AP, and probably going to delete the other island with the remaining, well, some of that with the remaining AP shells. Swapping into HE, we were preparing to swap for that for the Ithmo anyways, and the Z46 shows up. It is actually a consideration to shoot AP at a destroyer that's broadside, or even especially slightly angled like this. Now it's a little bit too much, but it actually is a consideration to shoot AP at them at sub 10 kilometer range, if we get the chance, because AP can deal a lot of damage to them. Remember, Hindenburg AP has 5,900 base AP damage on a Citadel, so that does amount to quite a lot. Granted, each individual HE shell thing still does 800 something damage on a non-saturated plate, so it's still not bad. Anyways, we've done about 5 point something K damage to the Z46, and those 2 last salvos were sent way too far. The guy's reasonably fast if he's got his tail between his legs, but he sure as hell can't teleport 3 kilometers forward, so that was a bit of a misjudgment on the salvos there. Although, again, even if we hit him, it's unlikely to do a super high amount of damage. We could have potentially blinked the Cargado, and that's just, I think, the scrolling on and replay is not really, being too cooperative. But it turns out we are dealing with the Z46 Ithmo division, the tier 9 division. Although we're in a tier 10 cruiser, so we definitely can, handle this kind of a situation overall. With few battleships, we can definitely, play quite nicely. We just need to make sure that we are reasonably angled against the battleships, otherwise... if we miss our angle a little bit, there's a high chance we're going to heavily bleed to incoming AP. And there you go, we need to intern, and that guy's actually reversing. And yeah, there you go, that's kind of what happened. He only hit us with 3, one was an overpen, but 2 others were full pens. So we definitely did quite a significant amount of damage to us with only 3 hits. And that's kind of the downside of the Hindenburg. If you do get caught at in a position of angling and it's not an auto deflect, chances are it's gonna be a full penetration, and full penetrations can hurt you quite a lot. Anyways, Cargado's almost dead, and all 4, every single one of their destroyers is on our side of the map, so we better be fully focusing on eliminating those. And a way turn here is actually not too bad. We could potentially shoot that salvo there as well, as we did hit the shimmy again, but a full away turn here isn't too bad, because even if the Ithmo does get to shoot at us, away turning Hindenburgs against battleships has a tendency to result in you dealing a grand total of potato for damage. Anyways, that's aimed slightly above and slightly under lead, but shimmy picks up the kills, so it doesn't really matter. And that's, yeah, the amount of fish out there is kind of expected when it comes to these high destroyer games. But our Des Moines, well, is how can we put it, not having that great of a day. So it cost him a lot to make the push against the enemy destroyers. Granted, he did end up basically getting 3 of them killed, and the other 2 are in, they're pretty low HP at this point. So we've killed the shimmy. The Chungmu on our team did that. And we need to be careful of the island over here. So we basically have 2 options. We either ram the island in reverse, angled, it's only 2 battleships, and continue shooting, or we turn earlier, because if we turn now, we need to make sure we need to reset our rudder, I think it might be too late. Yeah, there you go, it's too late, we clip the island. If we'd reset our rudders back to starboard again, our tail wouldn't have flicked into the island, so if the Ethan shoots us now, we could be in trouble. That's aimed too high, so that's unlikely to find any hits on the Z-46. Shooting people ramming islands like that is actually surprisingly difficult. Missouri takes a pot shot at us, but that's way too, way too ambitious, and he's too far away, so he's pretty much being useless at this point. You can see he's still full HP while his teammate's bleeding. But then again, so's Z-52. He needs to get behind the island or else he's going to go down, and that's kind of bad, because Z-52 has a very, very useful hydro. So we kind of just need to push up, try to deal with the Z-46 while our 52 still has hydro up, but the Ithmo takes down the 52, so we lose him, and that's kind of bad. I mean, for the moment, the 46 is still spotted, so, but he's, there you go. Gonna go invis pretty soon, so it's we kind of need to try to make a move and try to get rid of some of this stuff, while our only 2 battleships have decided they want to broadside down the middle of the map into a group of, the entire enemy team. And, well, I mean, at this point, if they immediately engage the enemy Missouri and the enemy Ithmo, you can see the enemy Missouri just bled a lot of HP. And it's probably the Missouri's radar that's up right now, keeping the Z-46, who's trying to reverse. I guess he's trying to hide himself for the Iowa. But Iowa just got bled massively as well. Again, because the guys seem very keen on just sailing broadside there. And 200 health Z, we need to get the kill on that. But if the Missouri and the Iowa had just pushed the enemy Ithmo and pushed the enemy Missouri, decisively, there's a very high chance that those 2 guys just, they would kill the Missouri and the Ithmo together with us. We can concentrate fire on that. We can envelop this enemy group on Delta, and that's GG. That's, game for us. Donskoy radars the Chungmu. We saw him getting shot earlier, but, we'd already decided to load into AP. He takes his torpedoes, and, we realize he's going to angle, so we load into HE. That's a very good decision there. Shooting HE at him after he takes a torpedo, a fire is likely going to stick. However, at this point, we kind of got this little problem that, we're not helping our remaining Missouri, who just died. We weren't really helping him, and we weren't really helping, the Iowa there as well to get rid of the Missouri and Ithmo. Granted, those 2 guys made really poor mistake of coming in broadside. Yes, they did wipe the enemy Missouri, but they didn't really achieve anything in return in that, is a positive trade. They just traded equally. They traded worse because they both died, but they traded a lot of the Missouri's health away, and, they traded a lot. They traded 70% of the Missouri's health on the enemy team away at the cost of 100% of both of their health, so 200% health. That's a really horrible trade, actually. But the smoke's finally fully covering us, and we decide to finally use our first heal, having, feeling that we're being pressured enough that we can bother using it. It's around about the border of a, borderline of a full heal. We'll lose 1,000 or something, or 2,000 health. It's not a big deal in general, though. We can see on the heal, I'm not even sure we're going to lose 2k on it. I think we might just lose, just short of 1k. Unless it's... Oh no, it's basically exactly perfect. So that's a very good judgment there. Anyways, the Chungmu decides he wants to go back into the smoke screen, I guess, for the intention of trying to shoot. We could launch a plane here to spot the Dmitry Donskoy, but turns out he, we need him to shoot, and the smoke's going to expire soon. The back end of his smoke's expired. Spanish smokes don't have too good duration overall. But if the Chungmu had kept the Donskoy spotted, we could have potentially killed them. This salvo here likely would have ensured his death. And now he's shooting in the middle of the open, so instead of shooting when he could have shot him, he's decided, hey, I want to sail out of the smoke screen to shoot him now, so... Don't be that guy. It's not good for your overall survivability, shooting in the open like that. But regardless, the Chungmu is taking quite some heat at the moment, so we can take advantage of that and push back against the Dmitry Donskoy and just kill him down. Good salvo there, but we might need 1 or 2 more against him depending on luck. And I would secure the kill on him. He should have a heal up soon if he has premium consumables. So if he doesn't, wow, he actually didn't die. So we actually have to finish him off on 300 health over there. So if we had just confirmed the kill, sent the next salvo on him until he's properly dead, then he'd be properly dead. Again, there you go. He's the kill's now confirmed, so he's dead. And he ain't coming back from that, which is kind of what we need. We still have a potential for an enemy Z-46 around, but we have 3 destroyers, they have 1, but more importantly, they actually have 2 battleships still alive, and, they can regenerate a bit of that. Missouri's not going to regenerate too much, because he's taken AP damage and probably some citadels on top of it. But all 3 destroyers kind of need to start suppressing the enemy cruiser group over there and spamming torpedoes at them without dying, because, well, I mean, if they commit suicide on the enemy cruiser group, or the Minotaur's radar and just, cheeses them away, we're going to be in trouble. Our Hindenberg the other one, should also consider loading into high explosives. Shooting AP at about 1 Ethmo is pretty much a waste of effort. It's not going to achieve too much. Using a Hydra here, very good choice against the enemy Z-46, but we need to be careful. There's a higher chance that the Z-46 is actually trying to, defend Delta, knowing that they just need to hold that, because, well, looking at the map, the rest of our team's destroyers are committing suicide, and our Chungmu gets spotted. That's aimed a little bit too high. That's going to shoot over him. But our Chungmu should hopefully get the kill, because we are not. There you go, we get the kill, and he bleeds a little bit of additional health, but he's still alive. That's really what matters here. So our Chungmu just needs to pick up the pace and rapidly advance in the opposite direction of the enemy Missouri, so he doesn't get himself caught by radar. Just getting himself to the southern end of the cap means that he's able to get it, and it looks like we're going to shoot the enemy Missouri just to try to pressure him and stop him from pushing forwards the radar down on Chungmu. So that's a good choice over here, but both of them are low HP, so we kind of just need to decide which one do we want to kill. And both of them go invis. That's perfectly fine. We can just launch our plane. We'll guarantee to spot the Ithmo. Not sure we'll spot the Missouri though, and turns out we get a spot of luck. The Missouri gets caught as well. So at this point, well, Chungmu might actually be getting plane spotted. He should be advancing, south, so he can get himself out of it, because the Missouri is reversing, the Ithmo is reversing. Both of these guys are under heavy pressure, and the Chungmu actually dies instead of after killing the enemy's destroyer down, just smoking himself up, which, if you're in that kind of a situation, just once you kill the last enemy destroyer, just smoke yourself up. You don't lose anything from that. And we're plane spotted right now, plane goes away, but lead a little bit of extra damage. It's not a big deal overall. We have enough health over here at the moment. We just need to make sure that the Ithmo and the Missouri die. And it looks like the Ithmo actually is accelerating forwards, so we would, if we wanted to swap into AP, now, after that salvo that's landing now, that would have been the right time. As you can see, if we shoot right now, the shells will impact when he's perfectly broadside. Any later than this, he's going to start angling again, and reversing. Reversing while angled like this is actually quite risky, as well. That salvo achieved nothing. But we've got AP loaded now again, so I just suggest we would have pushed forwards. Unlikely, this salvo might do, reasonable damage into the 6k. This one probably isn't gonna be too much worse, although we actually get a citadel in there. Without that citadel, it would have been pretty much the same. If Mail fails to recognize the fact that we're not actually full speed yet, we were only picking up the speed, so thankfully he misses. And we just need to overpen him one more time to kill him, but that citadel was quite unexpected. If most armor against AP is very, very strong. And at this range, there's no slipping shells underneath belts and whatnot. That's just, in my opinion, that's likely a plate desync bug there. But we get the damage in regardless, so, I mean, shouldn't complain about it. Just do not expect that as a regular occurrence, in my opinion. It just should not, it shouldn't be that way, so it's lucky bonus damage that we didn't need to deal there. But after that salvo, we definitely would have benefited from swapping back into high explosives just to make sure we kill him. 32mm of armor everywhere, and he's got a pretty big tail section, so we can, shoot that down. Now it's time for the Missouri to go down as well. But in general, in this engagement against the enemy Ithmo and the Missouri, I think we could have done better with a little bit more focused fire. Granted, we did get 2 fires on the Ithmo, but again, 32mm of armor means we can just kill it off instead of trying to farm additional damage against the Missouri. Kill off one guy so that, in general, we're going to bleed less health, and then kill off the Missouri, and, overall, the amount of damage we're going to get off the both of them combined isn't going to be that much reduced by just, shooting at the Missouri. It just means that there's a higher chance that we're going to lose more health, we're going to lose more ships, and, in general, have a harder time coming back into the game. But this game is going to be a 2 versus 2. It's going to be us and the Hindenberg versus the enemy Hindenberg and the Minotaur. The enemy team, they have all the caps, so they can let us have D. We're so far behind. Even if we kill the Missouri, we're not going to pull back enough to make it matter. So what we need to do at this point is to figure out what they're going to do. If the enemy team is smart, then they'll have, they won't engage us. They won't take us on. They'll dig in with the Hindenburg, who is incredibly high HP as we turn to engage him, but we actually get the kill secure on the Missouri there, so he goes down, which is good for us. Loading in double piercing. But we're not actually firing it, so I guess we want to go stealth. We do need to be careful, though. He has a Minotaur available, so it might be a consideration for us just to break and, well, figure out what's going on, because we need to make the moves here. So we need to take the risk of pushing down the Hindenburg and hoping the Minotaur didn't run. And he's broadside right now, so we can definitely kill him in a reasonable amount of time. And there you go, deciding to open fire against him. He's going to go conceal very soon, I think. There you go, because he didn't shoot for a while as well. He's continuing to shoot back against us. We can't be dawdling about here. We're just trying to get our gun turrets in. And the Minotaur reveals himself, which is kind of a mistake on his end. He should have made it, not told us where he is. And now we're gonna go shooting the Minotaur. That's not an angle for Citadel. I personally, at this kind of a point, it's what matters is all about focus fire. Who can we kill first? Because we've bled the Hindenburg and the Minotaur's lower HP, the Minotaur is the easier kill. However, he's now smoked. So we have the option of either focusing and gunning down the Hindenburg, valid option, or focusing and gunning down the Minotaur. The Minotaur's, our other Hindenburg seems more keen on shooting the Minotaur, so it might just be an idea for us to follow up. And with the way we're traveling now, it's easier for us to maintain more of our guns on the enemy Minotaur, who's now reversing, than it is to shoot the Hindenburg. And there you go. Sending a few more salvos. These are a little bit too high, remember. The Minotaur's a pretty tall ship with a really, really tall freeboard, which means his guns are high up on the deck. And now, I think we're making a bit of a mistake here, focusing on the Hindenburg. I would have tried to shoot the Minotaur. He probably kept on reversing, because he knows that we're coming in there to Anschluss him. So we're kind of now splitting up the damage. Granted, the Minotaur has stopped engaging us, which is kind of useful. And oh dear, he reveals himself on incredibly low HP. He actually bled a lot. And at that point, if we just gotten two more overpens, one full pen against the inside of the smoke, he would have died. And, well, we would have had more time to focus down the enemy Hindenburg. But, again, in this kind of a situation, it's just make sure you're shooting the same target together. Now, the enemy Hindenburg is being smart about it, he's angling, so I think we should just take our chance to conceal ourselves and build distance on them, because we can shoot more of our guns. Remember, if they don't have a smoke screen, a plane available, and we just, shot down the plane of the Hindenburg, the Minotaur smoke will actually conceal us when we stop shooting for 20 seconds, and we can make an away turn and bring to bear all of our guns against him when he can only bring to bear his forward gun. That is a consideration to do. The other option is just to push onto him like this. Do not continue turning here. Do not try to torpedo. Torpedoing here is a massive mistake. Those torpedoes are highly unlikely to achieve anything, especially if we just full dump them. And he actually loads AP, and we just bled 6k damage to that, which is very unfortunate because we did 400 in return. And if he aims very, very well right now, there's a chance he'll just upfront kill us. He did aim decently. His shells landed here instead of here. He could actually have upfront killed us at that point, but we just lost a lot of our HP. But these are also very low HP as well, so... Well, we kind of just need to kill him at this point, and his bow doesn't look too sectioned out, so we can actually load HE and we can just load the shells and shoot him HE right into this bow section over here, because his lower plating area is 40mm of armor as we're alive on 1 HP, but I don't think that's going to last for long. Let me just take control of the camera here so we can actually see what's going on. Oh dear, he's actually pretty low HP over there on... and he's still keen on shooting AP, which is kind of awkward. And he's poorly angled. If the Hindenburg gets... Oh, the enemy didn't get lucky. And we just need one more overpen. Shells are in the air. Who's going to get the damage? Is he going to bounce? No, he does not deflect. He goes in 1 AP shell, 1 overpenetration, 580 health. All he needed to do to kill him off. But in that kind of a situation where we're pushing in against that, well... chancing it away turn, if he's, well spotted, that's just going to get us killed. But the moment we killed the Minotaur, we could have made a consideration just to break away by, wait 20 seconds, break away, and then, pull away, and regenerate more health, build more distance, and use all of our guns against him while moving at full speed away. We'll have enough time to kill him off, or in general, just be better angled than a bow on situation. And take advantage of the other Hindenburg shooting at him as well, and just, keep shooting him, pelting him with superior damage output, when he's in a position where he can't do it properly, because if he starts to try to angle or, to engage with all of his guns, we also can shoot AP back at him. So that is something just to keep in mind overall. Definitely an incredibly solid result there, 210,000 damage almost. 2 citadels, one was against the Ithmo, and the other citadel was completely irrelevant against a Minotaur that was on like 50 health at that point, because we got 1 overpen with that salvo as well. 9 fire is definitely not a bad result, although I bet you the vast majority of this damage individually was dealt to the enemy Ithmo, we did get a lot of firing damage off him, which is not a bad thing overall. Now keep in mind that I'm being incredibly try-hard and min-maxy with the commentary. It's incredibly difficult and incredibly rare for any individual player to be doing this in any kind of a random battle, and you watch my streams, you'll know that most of the time I don't even care about try-harding or min-maxing random, so the commentary I'm giving here, just keep in mind that it is the quote-unquote perfect play things to consider. Although in the end, there really is no perfect play answer to it. There were about three options, all of which could have yielded the exact same result, and all of which would have been viable. So in the end, it really is the most important thing is just to decide on one thing, one of your options, and there are multiple options. Like 2 of the options would yield defeat, about 3 of the options would yield victory. Decide on one, stick to it, and push it. And we decided to push, and that was the option we took. And well, we got a little bit unlucky with the AP salvos from the enemy Hindenberg because we did overturn. But so keep in mind your torpedo firing angles there, and keep in mind your ship's angles there. Hindenberg has very good forward firing angles on those torpedo launchers, so we definitely overturned there and bled about 7-8k health completely unnecessarily. That would have been minimal damage bleeds if he continued shooting AP at us. So that's basically option 1, push him down. Option 2, conceal, break away. Bit more risky, but the result is you're not going to die. And, in this case, the other Hindenburg on our team almost threw it away by sitting broadside, and he bled a lot of health. And option 3 would have actually been to target his main guns with AP instead of shooting HG at him, and just reduce his ability to deal damage, and then just stop. Then once you've killed one of his gun turrets off, or preferably both, or just at least killing one of them off, you just sit there and just out-trade him because you suddenly have a lot more firepower than him, and you'll still have some health left to play with. Or you force him to give you a bad angle because he wants to, at this point, bring to bear the remainder of his guns, and, well, bringing to bear 2 extra guns and having 3 total is going to mean he's going to die faster because he's going to give a bad angle, because our other Hindenburg was pretty much exclusively shooting AP, which is kind of awkward because the thing actually gets pretty good HE shells. Having looked at the team scores, we're top by a fair margin, definitely to be expected. High caliber Confederate and 5 kills definitely means that this is, it's kind of the expected thing because we got a lot of damage as well. 2k on the Fletcher, 1.7k on the other Hindenburg that was playing with us, but beneath the Fletcher, the guys that lead up to about just above the halfway mark, were pretty close on the XP with each other, so in general we had a core of players that performed well, whereas on their team they had a much smaller core of players that performed, and, well, everything beneath no one really cares about. In general, though, we had the advantage to begin with more destroyers, although this Chungmu kind of got himself screwed by the plane and failed to react, and, well, he closed in on the plane when he should never have done so. So he actually gets killed there, which made this game a lot closer than it really necessarily could have been, because he could have gone to B, the enemy's cap, and captured that while we brought both of our Hindenburgs back to contest the enemy Hindenburg and Minotaur, forcing them on the defensive, and basically forcing them to have to make a move against us. Otherwise, our true move will just, cap everything around the map, and, otherwise just be a nuisance. Because we'll cap B, D will cap B, and if we kill any one of them, I think we should, at that point, would have been approximately back on equal point situation. And of course, if the Minotaur goes to contest the trigger move, we'll just take back the back cap. We're not sure about the exact amount of time we had left. Let's see. Battle duration 18 minutes, so we would have had a bit of time to to kill off the enemy ships in the end, or hunt them, or bleed their points back down. So they would have been forced to take an engagement with us. Looking at the detailed report screen, like I expected, the vast majority of our damage was dealt to the enemy Ithmo. You can see 35k fire damage again, the vast majority of this guy. Not a bad result overall to do this. It's definitely not a bad thing. We just need to make sure that we focus the fire and focus on getting rid of ships, because in the later stages of the game, battleships can be incredibly dangerous if they're let live. If they're left to live. And the Missouri, obviously, you wouldn't be paying attention to this in the battle, but from a spectator point of view, the enemy Missouri bled a lot of citadel damage to our Missouri, and I were pushing through the middle. What that means is he has a reduced ability to heal back. So by just killing off the enemy Ithamo and then killing off the Missouri, the Missouri will get one heal with his 20k health to, back up to 20k, because that's all he gets because he got Citadel'd. Well, actually it was like 25-30, but that's all he gets because he led to AP Citadel damage, and for a battleship that's only 10% regeneratable. So because of that bleed, he would not have been able to heal much. So he gets one heal off and would kill remaining 30,000 health off with combined fire power with the other Hindenburg, although he refused to throw fire and was much more keen on shooting Panzergranaten, which did a grand total of not much. So if you're on a Hindenburg in that kind of situation, shoot HE. In a team situation, even if you're in a battleship, it can be incredibly useful if you have mostly HE spamming cruisers to just shoot HE together with them. You'll set fires, you'll break secondaries, you'll trigger damage control parties, you'll in general be a nuisance, and also the team utility of it works a lot better. Unless there's a bunch of cruisers that are likely to be showing up, or anyone's likely to have the broadside, in which case stick to AP. But it definitely is a consideration to spam HE in these kind of late situations, even as a battleship. Again, just because of the team utility. And if you are, say, Hindenburg plus 2 battleships, it might be better off for you to shoot AP as well, if all your battleships are intent on shooting AP. But whatever deals the most damage in the end is the choice you want to make. Other than that, we handled this game actually pretty well. The only big mistake that we did this game was actually angling to launch our torpedoes and then not watching a torpedo launch angle, so we over-angled, losing about 8k health at the very end, which could have actually cost us the game. It was incredibly close. The enemy Hindenburg had gotten the Citadel against our Hindenburg. When he was angled like that, he would have gone down and we would have lost this. It was very close, very, very, very close at the end. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope the audio settings are better. I hope Adobe Audition didn't artifact on me in the middle of this recording. I know it has a tendency to do so over longer, stretches of time, and I've been experimenting with it for a while. Again, just want to see if it works. If it doesn't work, I will, just go back to using OBS filters, but I would prefer to use Audition overall because it just, it works better. It's got a lot more options, and generally I can get things to sound a lot nicer, in my opinion at least, even though I am absolutely horrible when it comes to audio settings. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment on the in the comment section below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send in your own replays. There will be an address in the description box below. If you want your replays casted like Bob today, take care, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.